Good morning. I hope I'm doing this right. I'm on. Looks like I'm on. We were having high drama with dogs, so Claudia just stepped out to put her dog in the car for the moment. But we have a really fun live today. So I have no way of knowing if people are here. So I think I'm here. It was Penelope's birthday the other day. Oh, there is somebody here, a Facebook user. Okay. So
Ready?
I'm on.
Oh, okay. Never mind. They just saw my face.
No, they didn't. Did they?
Yeah.
Some Facebook user is on. I can't see anything except Facebook user. Somebody finally caught it live. Anyway, I will let Claudia talk me through all of that. I guess we really want to know if you can hear. That's the main thing. Okay. And then where'd Penelope go?
She's right there. She followed me out and I caught her.
Penelope! I wanted to... Penelope! Grab Penelope because it was her birthday yesterday. So
she's drinking water.
She's drinking massive water.
Okay, so...
We went on a hike with the smoke. It's not too bad. And now it's worse. It's worse than it was. It was
crazy.
It wasn't as bad when you first drove up. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Carrie Beth says hello. Colette says, we are here. Carrie. Yay. Juniper Light says hi. Finally caught alive. Leslie Williams says hi. Chris Wilson says hi. Emily Bray, good morning. Good morning, Emily.
Hi, Emily. Long time no hear from. Okay.
Cyan says hello.
Cyan. It's all my
School.
big program.
Yeah. Winston and Penny say hi.
Hi, Penny and
Sandy
Winston.
Galindo says hi.
Hi, Sandy. Have fun.
Carrie says she can hear us. They can hear us.
Okay. Penelope, come here.
Andrea Loper says hi. Okay. Yes, everybody says they can hear us.
Adopted dogs the same within 24 hours. This is someone's being shy. Here she is, the birthday girl. Say hi. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Okay. So we have a fun live today. If you're new to me, my name is Joan Ranquet. I'm an animal communicator, author, healer, and founder of Communication with All Life University. And the school is for people to become animal communicators, energy healers, and we're going to have a whole nature and wildlife piece. Although you don't have to become an animal communicator, you might use it with your grooming situation, like a Sandy or a Chris. We have a few other groomers. Or trainers, and we're going to talk about that with our upcoming guest, horse trainer. You are trying to be licky, and I'm trying to talk. Thank you. Anyway, I have coconut oil on.
Come on, Penelope. Let's wish Penelope a happy birthday.
Okay, so everybody can say happy birthday, and we're going to let the Charlie Brown gang. We're going to let the Penelope go be somewhere else. Anyway, okay. Oh, you want to burrow down, that's fine. But you just cannot lick coconut oil off my chest. Anyway, I have lots of fun things coming up. And if you aren't in the if you aren't signed up for the big program, you're crazy. I'm kidding. If you aren't in we have the fall intensive, and we're doing it remotely, so you can do it from your pajamas. I mean, you can put a cute shirt on, have pajama bottoms on, because we're going to all be on Zoom. There will be a few of us social distancing here, and now she's going to start eating the crystals. You're going to steal the show.
Come on.
And we've got Animal Communication Level 1 coming up in October, and Energy Healing for Animals Level 1 coming up in November. So we have lots and lots and lots of fun things. I'm finally getting my coffee. We have, so the fall intensive is Animal Communication, Animals in Transition, Death, Dying, and Beyond, and Energy Healing for Animals, which it's different than the online class because we deal a lot with energy fields, and I'm having to rework all of the exercises so that we can still get that feel on Zoom. And it'll be fun. Our spring intensive ended up being really fun. So who's here?
So we've got
who else is here?
Michelle Schumann, Lorraine Bollinger.
Hi, Michelle. Hi, Lorraine.
Gloriana Palancia. Hi, Gloriana. Jennifer E.
Hey,
Gaynor Merlaner. Hi, Gaynor.
Hi, Gaynor.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we've got a whole pile of people here. All right. So we're going to bring on Selena Brown. And I never can say Selena. I always have to say Selena Brown. It's sort of like Christina Blue. It's all the colors. But anyway, if we could get a Jennifer Gray.
I'm going to add her.
Okay.
There she is.
Hi. There you go. She's here. Okay, she's muted, I think. Do I unmute her?
I think I just unmuted.
Claudia unmute her or?
Selena, can you say something? We just want to make sure we can hear you.
I think I unmuted.
Yay! Okay.
Oh, and I have to say, and don't forget, it's Bella Rosa.
Bella Rosa. Exactly. People get their names in the group. They're with me for 2 years, you know.
Bella Rosa, Selena Brown, and Christina Blue.
Yeah. And then you almost named your dog.
No, that is her name.
Bella Blue.
Bella Blue.
Yeah, so it's kind of a combination. Bella Blue Brown.
Bella Blue Brown.
Okay, yes. Anyway. So, hi, Selena. It's so fun to have you here. You look great.
Yeah, she does.
No t-shirt, no baseball hat. You know.
We're moving on up, people. So, one of the things that I think, I mean, you've spent your whole life with animals, correct? Tell me about what your childhood was like.
Yeah. So, my grandfather had a small farm. We had chickens, ducks, pigs, horses, cows. And my brother was ill when he was a child, so I was only allowed to have outdoor animals. So at our house, we had some chickens and some ducks, and I had obviously my horses. So yeah, even before I got my first pony, my grandfather, when he had to watch me, the horse was the babysitter. They just plunked me up on the top of the workhorse, you know, and I rode him around hanging onto his harness. And then by the time I was 5, I drove them crazy to ride the horses so much that he bought me a pony. And the poor pony used to get so tired that she would just lay down. She just couldn't go anymore. She would just lay down. So my grandfather told my parents that it was time that I graduated. And by the time I was 10, they bought me a 2-year-old mare, unbroke.
Oh my God. That's what I got at 7. I won a horse that was unbroke. Yeah.
Right. So it was an experience. That taught me to be a horseman.
Yeah. I learned a few things too.
Yeah. I around animals my whole life. I mean, like I said, dogs, cats. It was just, I spent more time at the farm playing in the barn. And that's how people know me. Oh, you were that kid running around? You know, and then people just would call me to watch their dogs. I didn't babysit kids. I babysat animals. We
share that. Although there were a few babysitting jobs here and there. Did you, and then you were in 4-H?
I was not. I never had any professional riding. After I got my horse, about 6 miles, and I'm going to date myself. This sounds like a story your grandmother would say, but it's what happened. 6 miles down the road was our local show ring, and I rode my horse at 4 o'clock in the morning, bareback, halter and lead rope, all the way down to the show ring before they started, bathed her down there. My dad would bring the saddle and bridle down for me. And I just watched people and asked questions. And so I guess I got a lot of instruction from a lot of different people, good people that were like, girl, if this girl wants to ride 6 miles to go to, learn how to ride, I guess we better show her a few tips.
That's awesome. I swear to God, we have parallel lives in that way. I've got
Right?
lots of stories. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I just right there back to the horse shows, and my parents came with the tack. But
right.
yeah, this is how I rolled, and we would have been racing through the woods together if we lived in the same neighborhood.
I bet we would have.
Yeah, and Honey Horse was pretty fast. I'm just going to tell you now, I would have won. But anyway, I'm kidding.
Oh, you would have.
Anyway.
Mine was my horse was a quarter horse, real short and fat. They used to call her Oinker.
Oh, so
She was a good
then
girl.
you ended up with a riding school. So what was the progression there?
Okay, so I wanted to be, like so many of us, wanted to be a veterinarian. Academically, I'm thinking it wasn't a good decision. Chemistry and I just don't fit.
Right.
So I went to the next best thing, and I got a animal science major, specializing in equine. Did my degree there, did some internship with Tufts and a lot of great riders. And when school was over, came home and started a family. And I was teaching at a few people in my area. I ended up adopting a couple of racehorses to rehabilitate, because it was really kind of, I wanted them to have a chance. And raising kids, it seemed like the right thing to do. So you can't feed all these horses that you want to save without giving them a job. So I said, well, I might as well teach. I did the riding part of it. I rode for a lot of people, and people were asking me for lessons when I came back, and it grew from that point. So my riding school actually started out with my little quarter horse mare and my pony still. And I adopted 2 standardbreds off the racetrack, and they were the best school horses that I for anybody that wanted a new horse to start out with. I thought these are magnificent horses. They're so willing. They're already broke to cross ties and all these things. So it was perfect. And old mom started the school.
Did you ride saddle seat ever?
I tried it once, was not my forte. I am a true hunter jumper.
Yeah.
I love the adrenaline. I love the athletic component of it. And yeah, that was my forte. I did some three-phase eventing. Dressage was not at the time, in my early 20s, my thing. It is now. I love it now.
I know, we get old and go, no, I'm just going to ride dressage.
Yeah, right. All the broken bones later, I decided, that ditch just doesn't look appealing.
I know. I just have to tell you that what I've always said about hunter jumpers is they're well-heeled cowgirls at heart, and they could kick any cowgirl's ass. That's what I always say about those. You guys are tough to your core. So, and I started out that, and then I went to 3-day eventing, and then I just went straight to dressage about 32. I just said, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore.
I remember when, like I said, I got to experience a lot of great riders before I came back to Maine. And I was at one of Sally's clinics, and I was helping her out and what have you. And I'm sorry?
Sally Swift?
Yes, ma'am. She's like my heartthrob. She taught me so much. And I remember her saying, I was sitting on this beautiful Oldenburg and borrowed from a friend. And she said, girl, if it's one thing I've learned about you, You can ride anything on 4 legs, but honey, I need to polish you up because you've got some sass that we need to fix.
That's funny.
And
So
I remember that now when I'm riding dressage, and my instructor now will say, "You look fine," and I'm thinking, "Okay, Sally, I've got this."
Sally Swift started what's called centered riding, and it's really about balancing the horse, and really it's based on a lot of Alexander technique, which is being really in alignment, which the idea behind the Alexander technique is use only the energy that the task requires. So the way that we get up out of a chair is like, whereas we could just rise out of a chair. And so I love the Alexander technique. As an actor, I learned it, and then I learned it again for dressage. But it also, the correctness of your own body, you know, your hips, if you're standing, your hips over your feet, your shoulders over your hips, your ears over your shoulders. If you're standing correctly, then you're going to get on the horse correctly. And if you get on the horse correctly, the horse has a better chance of using only the energy that the effort requires, and therefore less accidents and less everything, just real alignment with horse and rider. I love centered riding. As a matter of fact, Carla Jo Bailey is a centered riding instructor. We were going to interview her, and then COVID hit. We were going to do an interview at her barn, which we can still do. That'd be fun.
Wait for me to get there.
Yeah. Are people?
Yeah. So okay. Yasmin Bender says, hello, Joan. Hello, Selena. Selena says, you look great. Lorraine says, you look so beautiful.
It's true. You do.
You do. Athena says, hey, Mom. Torrance says, go, Grammy.
Your daughter's on.
Sandy Galindo says your name with hearts.
Wow.
Kim Nishida says, great to see you both. Carla Owen says hello. Mickey Reed says, hey, Jim.
Hey, Mickey.
Mo Chades, so sorry, I'm totally butchering your last name, says she loves Sally.
Me too.
Yeah. So
I have books all around here, and I always remember the little thing she did with the skeleton.
I actually used that in. I used to, when we couldn't ride during because I didn't have an indoor. We used to use the ball for centering their body. I used to do it in classroom kind of thing for my students every week, once a week. And we did the skeletons, and I just took everything that I learned from her, and we worked on that balance and position through the big athletic balls that people use, exercise balls. Yeah. And I used to have them ride them, and then they would each be on a ball, and one person would hold the bit so they would understand that feel. And then it also connects, I think it helps the kids connect the way the horse feels, because they can feel that bit in their hands. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then in the summer, you can see them when they come back, they're kind of like their hands are different, and they feel that. And so, I used to use a lot of those tools that I learned.
I love those tools. I'll tell you a story in a second, but just so you know, Mickey Reed is on here, and she knew my horse, Honey Horse, and she knows that I would have
kicked my butt.
Right. Yeah. There's not a lot that I could kick your butt at, but that would have been the one thing. So anyway, I'm actually not competitive, but it would have been fun to race through the woods. Yes.
So Mo says, I grew up learning from Sally.
Oh, that's cool.
And Cyan says, hey, we use those balls in gymnastics too.
Yeah. You know, those are really great. I mean, gymnastics, I wonder if you brought in Alexander technique the alignment is so great. I think about it all the time, especially the minute I sit in the saddle, the minute.
Mickey Reed says yes.
And Mickey and I raced through the woods a couple times. Anyway, so the one thing I love also about that is you just start thinking differently too, right? I once did a clinic in Denver when I lived in Denver with a gal who taught centered riding, and we did a weekend of part centered riding and part Scalar Wave. So we really calmed ourselves down and really got into that centeredness, and then rode. We did all. It was all ground on the ground. Everything we did. So we had those little teeny. What are they called? Little. If you're a big one, you do it in gymnastics, Cyan. You've got the word. It's you jump on it. You
Trampoline.
flip.
Trampoline.
Jesus.
Yeah, I used those in my school too. The kids used to use those too. Yeah.
Because it helps people understand the trot.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So we
Yep.
did. Yeah, we did this clinic a few times in Denver. I was at a big barn. It was a hunter jumper and dressage barn, and so we had took the whole upstairs, and then we would get down and do groundwork with the horses, and then I taught some labyrinth work, and you could actually see with the labyrinth work how you walk through the labyrinth with your horse is how you actually ride. So then we could repair it with the centered riding stuff. It was so fun. It was a really fun workshop. We could whip something like that up in our sleep, Selena. Anyway,
I would love it, because to add those tools to the tools that I've learned now to what I used to do in teaching, I could just, it excites my whole body. I could see my students just fly. Not that my students didn't fly. I felt that they did. My main principle when I was teaching, and sometimes, you get frustrated when you ride. The horse isn't always having a good day. You're not having a good day.
Not a motorcycle.
I'm sorry?
It's not a motorcycle.
Correct. And I used to say to the kids, then why are you doing this? Well, because. I said, well, I'm sorry, but you're not very nice right now. So why should they be nice to you right now? And then they'd stop and they'd think, but to be able to now understanding to be able to center them within their own self and help them ground themselves. I didn't know how to do that. So I used to look for my horses. My school horses were the most amazing. I was just lucky. I was blessed with some of the most amazing school horses in the world. And sorry for anybody that has other school horses, but we all feel ours are the best. We all know this. But they would tell me, I would know, and I would say, you need to get off your left cheekbone. You're pushing too hard, and that's why he's coming in. And they would be like, how do you know this? I said, because he told me. His tail is swinging to the left, because he could feel it. So he would tell me with his body, and I was just lucky. And to be able to have the tools that I have now and knowing those things would just be incredible.
Yeah, and we will get to that in a moment. So did you feel like you were communicating with the horses back then?
I knew that we had a connection. I used to call it a connection, but I didn't understand until I met you at that seminar that you did here in Augusta, that was actually communicating. People would say, I'd go, oh, your horse is sore on that left shoulder. And they'd be like, how do you know this? And I didn't know. I don't know how to explain it. I guess no. The answer would be no. I didn't understand that I was communicating. I just felt that I knew the answer.
Yeah, I know. That's insane. Yeah. And I know a lot of animal communicators say, oh, I was communicating with the ducks when I was young. And it's like, well, essentially we were too. It's just we weren't calling it that. It wasn't as conscious or conscientious. It was that connection that, it's why you babysat dogs, and why probably like you, if somebody had to give their horse a shot, they had me come over. Right. And then I was calm. I knew how to calm animals down. I just stayed in. I could always be in that zone in a minute, no matter what was going on around me, and that to me is all the part of the step to communicating with animals.
Totally.
It's funny, going back to the hunter jumper thing. I've done a lot with hunter jumper barns where I've come in, taught kids animal communication, and then we visualized them going to championships, and you just cannot believe how those little girls light up. And sometimes they really get that it didn't matter that they won. They went in with such a deep connection that's
Yes.
all that mattered. But they usually cleaned up. Right.
Exactly. And there were times the kids, they would just go in that ring and they knew their horse wasn't ready. And they were okay with it because we went there as the experience. They would have a young horse or what have you, and they were focused on, it was about the connection that they had with that horse and their progression. They knew when they were advanced rider and they got a new horse that this was part of the stages. We all have different stages we go through. And they would still come out and go, they'd be like hugging the horse. And I'm like, I'm so happy for you. She did so good. It was about the horse. And that brought me so much pride, so much and fulfillment, knowing that I felt like I helped blossom that connection in them and encourage them to understand their horse and what their horse was going through and the feelings that their horse was experiencing, and sharing that moment together.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that the more children have that opportunity to connect on that level, the better the world is going to be.
I agree.
And one thing I can see just barely that people are talking about centered riding. The one thing that's great about centered riding is you can apply the method for Western, for bareback, for trick riding, for vaulting, for dressage, for hunter jumper, for endurance, for Western. I mean, endurance, you would be really compressing. You would really get more out of your ride just because you would use only the energy the task requires. So when you stopped the school, you were still with animals, but how did that feel?
I have to tell you, I was lost, absolutely lost. I tried, I went to several different jobs, sometimes only lasting 2 years. I struggled through life. I really did. It was it's been almost 10 years of trying to find my way. And then I joined the school. But before I joined the school, I remember I was at my daughter's house and we were doing the 5 the course that you just ran. It was right before intensive and what have you. And I was watching it at my daughter's house, and you were live. It was the first time it wasn't the replay. And at any rate, when the whole thing was done, she looked at me and she said, "Now I know why you love this program so much, Mom. You found your family. You went home."
That's
right. Sorry, I'm trying not to. Don't do that. No, she tells me all the time. She says she's on, and I have to thank her because she reminds me, you just got to follow it, Mom. If you love it, do it. And she sees the growth in me, not just in the change, but in me personally. What the school has done for me, it has brought me back to what I love, what I know I was meant to do, just in a different way.
Yeah, I love that. That's just so powerful, right? that I forgot?
She threw us off
Oh, you
completely.
just threw me off. No, you did it.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. So I want to go back to when you came to that class in Augusta, and by the way, you came with Carrie, and
Actually, we didn't know each of us was going, and when we saw each other, it was like, oh my God, how did we not know?
were you sitting? You were sitting with her, right?
Yep. Yeah.
You were sitting. I'll never forget. You guys were right in front, right down in front. Yeah.
And we
Anyway.
actually behaved.
So when does Carrie start riding? Just anyway. So.
I've been talking to Carrie about doing some flower essences with my horses.
Oh, that would be so great. Horses respond so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So very, very, very quickly. They're so energetic. And then I need some too, Carrie, but that'll be another live. I'll tell you about my problem that later. So when you came there and you experienced that, because we did a little telepathic game and then we talked to a dog, what did that feel like for you? What was that first moment?
I didn't believe myself. The visuals that were coming to my thoughts, I mean, I came up with a banana and a school bus. Like, what does that have to do with a dog? And then come to find out, when you went around the room to everybody and it was my turn and I said, well, I think I'm crazy and I think I might have connected with whatever. And then you get the feedback and I was like, oh, the school bus has something to do with that. But it was really different, I have to say, but it was exhilarating at the same time. I was afraid, but I was exhilarated. I was like, I need more. It was like a really good drug.
It is a good drug.
Mm-hmm.
So and it took you a while to join, right? You ended up joining. I met you a summer before you joined, or 2 summers before you joined.
Because Carrie, we went to the seminar, and it was the next summer. My shepherd had gotten sick. He was diagnosed with a bad disease, and I reached out to Carrie, and I said, I've been reading Joan's book, and we talked and what have you. And Carrie had just come back from the fall intensive. She worked with me. She did a reading with me. And then he passed, and I was carrying a lot, and I went to her house, and oh, that girl is strong, because I dumped. She did some tapping with me, and I had never experienced it. And it was again another life-changing experience for me. And after we were done, I think it was like 3 days later, I said, I think I need to do this, Carrie. And Carrie talked to you, and then you called me, and then the next thing I know, I remember having the conversation, and I was hemming and hawing, and then I went, you know what? I don't know why, but I'm just going to do it. Just sign me up. I'm doing this. I don't care. I'm doing it.
Yeah. Well, we're all glad. So then you came to, this is my favorite part. I've been waiting to get you came to the intensive and you were like, oh, chakras. Tell me about that.
Okay. So I'm going to try to be as political, but I'm going to tell you exactly what was running through my mind was, what the hell is a chakra? why are these people seeing colors? And what the heck does the rainbow have to do with this? You want me to do what? And then everybody's going around the room, and you guys are all just talking about these things, and I'm thinking, oh boy. I don't know, man. I don't understand this whole thing, but I'm gonna try. And I remember poor Cyan. I remember going back to she was my roommate, and oh, poor Cy. But I love you, Cyan. And I said, Cyan, so what was that energy thing we just did? Can you help me with this? She's looking at me, and let me call Carrie and see if we can just talk about this. So then Carrie comes down over the bungalow, and she says, I've talked to you about chakras. I've told you your aura before. And it was a night. Yeah, I understand what a chakra is now. But I couldn't figure out why everybody was seeing all these colors. I'm sorry, I just embarrassed myself.
No.
So
But it's true. I think people come here, and I'm just like, yeah, second chakra, blah 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 blah. But you understand how it relates to, like, you can see it with an aging animal, with
Totally.
a dog.
Totally.
I
mean, I had no energy experience other tthan what Carrie had talked to me about. And sometimes I would just go, yep, that's Carrie. It's a fairy. That's Carrie. I know she's telling me something important. But yeah, and I think my first Reiki session was my daughter gave me Reiki. Other than that, I'm just a hometown girl that rides horses,
But you've come to love the Scalar Wave.
Absolutely. I do Scalar first thing in the morning before I even get out of bed. I do Scalar when I go to bed. I have a notepad of animal and people or different things that I want to support with that energy. I've been using Scalar throughout the day. My boy was ill last week, and
You
just
had
a
a
miracle.
miracle.
He's just, the vet just, yeah, they're so impressed with how he's being naughty, and I love it. He's a 27-year-old naughty boy, and last week he was a sick boy. And just to see him doing all the naughty things that he does is incredible. And I attribute it to all the energy. When we were standing there with the vet, I had posted on the page, and I asked people for help. And we're standing there, and she's doing her thing, and the next thing you know, it was like lightning bolts just kept getting his little butt, and he'd be naughty, and then he'd stop, and then he'd be naughty, and he'd stop. His tail would flick, and his ears would go. And I remember Sue Harris was saying, she goes, when I was talking to him, his ears were just going, and when the vet was there, his ears all of a sudden would go. It was like he heard he knew, he could feel it, and it would give him that surge. And I remember saying, if it was your horse, how would you go about this? And I need your honesty to her. And she goes, he's 27 years old and he's very sick, but man, this boy's got some fire. And I knew it was everybody out there just supporting him and holding him with that Scalar and just sending those lightning bolts to his body. And I can't thank everyone enough.
Okay.
Claudia, are you crying? Oh,
I'm looking at Joan and she's crying, and then I start crying, and then she sees me crying, and then we go into a loop.
Yeah, it's just a bad biofeedback cry loop. Or
this
laughing.
is why I don't tell stories, because everybody cries.
You know, it's
But
so
they're
great.
okay. I do have to say, hold on, I have to go back because Jordan Banks said she can relate to all of this so much. So that's why you tell your stories.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
and I also, did you tell your vet that was going on?
Yes. Yeah, I'm not sure she's a believer, but when she sees him the next time and he's naughty, she's gonna know. She'll believe. He'll make her believe.
That's so great. Did you know, I had a time where, so just so people know, if you're in the big program, we have a private Facebook group, and we always ask, we have, right now we're all working on a bunch of animals. And we, I, at one point, put me and my horse in, my horse in the group. And, you know, I've been doing scalar for, I don't know, 1,000 years. And I can feel it. Like if somebody has worked on an animal before I've gotten to it, I can feel that the track has already been laid, so to speak. And so I'm going to move the dog because she could knock everything over. Okay. Anyway, so the one day that I had everybody working on my horse, I literally was walking with hay to go feed dinner, and I dropped hay off at Anya's, and when I turned the corner, I felt like I walked into the energy. I could feel all the love and scalar going on. It's just like when we were in the fires, when we were helping at the Gentle Barn evacuate all those animals. Even though the fire is right there, all we could feel were the prayers.
I talk about crying.
It's amazing. So when we work together as a group, it's just so powerful. It's so powerful. So I'm glad you fell in love with scalar. I can't wait to hear what your vet has to say.
He's going to be impressed.
Yeah, and then you can just tell her all about chakras.
Which, can I add something?
Yeah.
Because of Selena's experience, what did you add to the fall intensive as a bonus?
Oh yeah, I added a whole, the bonus for the fall intensive is my chakra class. So yeah, because I was like, okay, I so that if anyone else is coming to the intensive and doesn't know about chakras, you will be well versed, because the audios alone are about an hour a piece on each of them, and we really go into, you know, a deep dive on like how you see the first chakra working with animals in the wild, how you see the first 3 chakras working with animals in the wild, and how when our animals get a little bit afraid, they turn, you know what I mean, like they're really reliant on those first 3 chakras, and the next 4 don't matter. And if they've had, anyway, it's a whole thing. But so you are now getting clients as an animal communicator. You still have a few scalars to go and a few EFT to go. Correct. For your case study. So if, especially if you have a horse and you want Selena to work on your animals, let us know at customer care.
No, sessions. Sessions at
JoanRanquet.com. We have so many emails at this point. Sessions at JoanRanquet.com. Okay, and so does anyone else have anything to say?
Yes. So I'm going to go back because it's so good. Okay. Back to when you were talking about how Carrie talked to Selena, and Lorraine says, talking to Carrie brought me into, and she goes, and then there was Joan asking, what the hell was I waiting for? Yeah, I mean, Selena Brown, is so amazing to hear your journey, how things keep attracting us back to our heart path, and how things come full circle to follow that nudge. Yeah.
And yeah, we just worked on Yasmin's dog. Maybe Yasmin could share her story about the Scalar Wave, because I got a great text the next morning about a perfect poop, which You know?
For those of us who are animal
Hey.
people, that's a huge win.
Yeah. We look at poop
We do.
all day. Anyway.
So then when we were crying, Jennifer E says, I'm crying too. And Cindy goes, I'm not crying.
Cindy, yeah.
Kim Nishida said, Penny says, that is so cool. Thank you for sharing that, Selena. Kim Nishida says, I love your stories. Can't get enough. Yasmin says, oh, wow, fall intensive bonus is the chakra class. That's amazing. Big gift. And there's 2 more bonuses, but anyway.
Yeah.
And Andrea Loper says that for her too, I guess she's, probably replying to you and Carrie giving the nudge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
One thing about that too, with the chakras, and now that I understand them, thank you again. Going back into writing, which tapping EFT brought me back into that.
Oh, yeah.
I notice now when I go up to the horse and I've centered my own body and grounded my own body, sometimes when I get up to the horse, I'll put my hand on certain parts of that horse and I can feel that energy, and I'm trying to send and it's really, I'm just kind of opening that chakra up. And I don't know if it's my instinct because I don't want to get bucked off because I'm old now, or I want to heal the horse. I'll have to figure that one out later.
Well, both. You know, it's funny, going back to hunter jumpers, I have an old friend. He was my trainer when I was down in South Florida. He rode dressage at the time, and then he went back to his roots of hunter jumpers. And but he was still a great dressage trainer, and that's probably why he was such a great hunter, because he had just really had that centered riding to his core and really good dressage background. But he took my Scalar class. When Shannon and her mom took it, and usually they're on, but it's Shannon's birthday today. It was Penelope's yesterday. It's Shannon's today. So Shannon goes back and watches this. Happy birthday, Shannon!
Happy birthday, Shannon.
Anyway, so probably 2006 or so, I taught a little, like 3 days. I used to do a lot of 3-dayers around the country, but I was living in Florida, so they came to my house, and then we did 2 days of animal communication, and the last day was Scalar on ourselves and then on an animal. And so Chris did, he worked on a horse that was, he was going to be showing that week, because, you know, in South Florida, they're showing all the time. And he literally won everything. And he said that whole season, he did the Scalar on him and whatever horse he was going. So he did it on himself, and then he did it on the horse he was going to ride. And he cleaned up that season. So it's powerful.
Yasmin.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just about to say, it really, obviously as a horseman, we ground ourselves and we center ourselves and we talk about this and we, the positioning and what have you, but to add that scalar effect to it and really open and really, it's mind-blowing experience. I thought I had the most exhilarating feelings when I rode horses before. Now I'm just like, I'm blown away at the emotions and the depth. It's a depth that I go to, that I just, wow. This isn't a drug. This is heaven.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were going to say?
No, that Yasmin commented, oh my God, Joan and your community are amazing. You did the Scalar Wave and worked on Ruby, my 14-year-old Yorkie. She is a changed dog, pooping, eating, walking. She has the bounce back in her step after not moving for 3 days.
Oh my God.
That's so cool. And then
we always do the silent clapping.
And then Gaynor says, I can't wait to get started on the 2nd. October 2nd is when the fall intensive starts.
Yes.
You still have time to sign up.
You can still sign up for the fall intensive.
And then Rachel Ann Park says, I can't wait to learn Scalar.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, you're going to love it, Rachel Ann. Okay. So real quick, Selena, I know we've got to wrap up. I get this from Claudia. So how did you get back on a horse?
I did EFT and tapping. Yeah. And
so-
it wasn't about the experience prior. It was about my fear of not feeling that feeling, not being that same person that I was. And when I started tapping and bringing it back to myself, I'm still the same person. I just have a changed body, and that's okay. I'm going to learn to ride the way my students rode, because I had a hippology program, and I had students that couldn't feel their lower legs. And now I can relate to that. And if it hadn't been for the tapping, my filly has been sitting here for 7 years as a beautiful, beautiful lawn ornament. She gets a carrot and a pat and sprayed and thinks that that's like, and she looks at me like, are we going to go do something? Now we can go do something.
And Carrie can too.
Right.
Cracking up when you guys were talking about her writing.
Oh, that's funny. All right. Well, we have to wrap it up. It's been really fun. I think I would love to hear about your hippology program. We forgot to get there, but again, you do amazing work, and it's going to be so fun as you're graduating and you're in teacher training now to watch you wrap it all together, because I feel like I've worked with people doing labyrinth work even in wheelchairs with horses. I mean, we've got some stuff to talk. I have it on video. I have all these old videos I need to I put them on CDs, but we really have to talk about a live event.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. Thank you for being here. And
bye, Selena. Thank you.
Like Claudia said, there's still time to join us for the fall intensive, and we'd love to have you. You would learn chakras and more.
And people are asking what the scalar wave is. That's really where I learned. That's where I learned it.
Yeah,
I had no idea what it was. So
yeah, it's an energy technique that works from the inside out cellularly. So and I always say that at the very least, you can relax an animal or yourself, which is the beginning of healing or behavioral shifts. It's somewhat diagnostic, because when you start to get in there, you really feel, and diagnostic even emotionally, as Selena said, she really feels the depth. And then it's also a healing technique. I mean, literally bacteria, organs. I've seen so many miracles, it's not even funny. But so anyway, thank you, everybody. See you. We're going to add some tapping for the fires on Thursday at 10. I forgot to say that.
Yes.
So we'll do, if you guys want to join us on Thursday at 10, we're going to do some tapping.
About
the fires and the craziness in the world right now, just to chill out.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Do I do that? Okay, I don't know how to end. Oh, look, Penelope's back. There we go. Oops, we got a thesaurus. Okay.